everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Euros. Actually, all balls episode of the Euros coverage. It's down to the final four. And tonight we're covering our first of the semi-finals. It's Italy versus Spain. I am joined with my lovely co-host, Mr. Rahul Bela. Along with us, we have Kunal, Ronisha, Ren, and Calvin, the usual suspects. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks,
for having us.
Carl.
Well, guys, starting off, it's been a nice, fun journey so far. It's sad that the tournament's almost coming to an end. So, Rahul, we have a tough, actually, well, a relatively interesting fixture today. So, what are your thoughts?
Winner plays England. These are my thoughts. But no, I don't really rate Spain too much. They've been hot and cold, goals in bursts. Could not score for 50 minutes against a 10-man Switzerland. Strange selection decisions, whereas Italy have been bang on the money within the goals. Good football, beautiful football, substitutes coming on, scoring, changing games. So they looked a much better outfit. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I don't rate Spain as high as Italy, but yeah, I think it's Italy for the cup.
Well, Kunal, I'm going to ask you, like, do you think Italy, I mean, Italy clearly do look like the favorites in this, but Spain, they've been the most probably inconsistently consistent team in this tournament. So, what are your thoughts for them?
I think it's a great question. For me, it's kind of like about individual players taking up like the next step in their career. So, if Verratti wants to be seen as maybe the Xavi of his generation, then he's going to have to put in a big performance. But that big performance could come from any player or group of players. It could be Morata's, most clinical performance in a big game. But I would put my money on Italy because I think they have more guys who are ready for that level of responsibility. So I'd put my money on them too.
Well, it looks like we have a very strong voice for the Italians, but Ronisha, you got to make a case for the Italians. You do have your Italian, I mean, not for the Italians, but
My
for the Spanish. So you have your Spanish jersey on the side. So what case would you make for the Spanish side?
All right. So Italy and Spain have both had a flawless run this Euro. I mean, both gone unbeaten to come into the semis. It's a tough game to come into the semis and then get knocked out. So it's bad for whoever loses at this point. Coming back to the stats, I mean, Italy and Spain, if you're looking at it, they met at they met head to head at 4 consecutive Euro competitions. So where 2008, Spain did beat Italy on penalties. 2012, they got beaten 4-0. However, Italy did get revenge back in 2016 with a 2-0 goal knocking them out in France. So I'm hoping that Spain has that revenge in them and wanting to take back what they lost in 2016 and get back it this year. So yeah, Spain all the way for me.
Well, that's a fair assessment. And Ren, I got to ask you as a goalkeeper, it's now going to be a tale of two good goalkeepers. Well, good would be an understatement for Unai Simon, considering the couple of howlers that he's had. But honestly, like, how do you rate these goalkeepers now coming into this fixture?
Well, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, they are one of the two best goalkeepers currently. I mean, De Gea's on the bench, so it would take someone with real good potential to put De Gea on the bench. I'm a De Gea fan, obviously, but being a goalkeeper, that mistake is going to be playing in his head. I mean, every time he gets a back pass, that image is going to be replaying in his head over and over again. But it's a semi-finals. You're there for your country. You're doing your best. So I think they are professionals, and they'll definitely have their heads held high and do a good job.
Well, that's a fair assessment. Cal, gonna ask you though. I mean, do you think who has the better upper hand right now amongst the managers? You have, the very seasoned Roberto Mancini, and you have also the relatively seasoned Luis Enrique, of course, two polar opposites in terms of management. So, how do you think their personality is going to play into the semi-final?
A lot of people have been complaining about Luis Enrique's management. A lot of like his team passing sideways and not passing forward, passing back a lot like England has been doing. But I mean, he's found success. They've progressively gotten better through the tournament. Italy, on the other hand, I think Mancini has done a stellar job from taking over. I think he's done 32 games unbeaten, if I'm not mistaken. I know they are 32 games unbeaten.
So definitely Mancini is doing a really good job. There's inclusivity in the team. He let his second keeper play a few minutes, and that's not just for his keeper. I think that sends a message throughout the team that everybody's going to be involved, and everybody's going to be required at some point in time as long as you prove yourself. So I feel like management wise, Mancini has done like a slightly better job, and I feel like his team, I mean, it's showing, man. He's gone unbeaten in 32 games. Spain are definitely going to be thinking about that, but Italy are also going to be thinking about that 4-0 beating in 2012.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Mancini's side is just that little bit more balanced. There's his front three have better chemistry, according to me, than Spain's front three. I personally don't rate Morata, man. He's not hardworking enough. Like, I feel like he doesn't give his all for that, you know, in a 50-50. He's not putting his body on the line, and you know, those crunch times, maybe you need to put your body on the line to get those goals. And Chiellini and Bonucci are not going to give him an easy time. They're not going to give him space. He's going to have to fight for those, you know, little pockets of space to get a shot on. So I think Mancini has better balance here.
Fair enough. I mean, Raul, La Gazzetta dello Sport has mentioned that most likely that Jorginho will win the Ballon d'Or if Italy wins the Euros. So, with that being said, is there anyone else that can stop the mighty Jorginho from the Spanish
Mighty
squad?
Jorginho. I can understand Kante winning it, not Jorginho. Like, really, like, give me a break. No, he's performed well. I personally am not a fan. Like Calvin mentioned, you know, the sideways passing and stuff like that. Okay, works with Chelsea, works in Italy. I still do not feel he controls the game. People rate him very highly, but
I rate
if
him
you put
highly
him
as an
under
Arsenal
pressure, you rate him. Sorry.
I rate him as an Arsenal fan because he scored that beautiful goal for us. But
I mean, yeah, but as a United fan, we even had Federico Makeda come and score against Aston Villa, and then these one goal wonders I don't really believe in. But no, again, if you put pressure on him, he is a central midfielder. He's a holding midfielder. He cannot run to save his life. As far as getting revenge, I don't think Spain is in a position to get revenge. They are missing names such as Xavi and Iniesta from that 4-0 victory. And there is no player in this Spanish team you can say is a game changer. Yes, you have talent, but there is no one player like for an Italian side, an Insigne can step up and win you a game. Even a Spinazzola for that matter. When he was in the side, he could win you a game. The Spain team, Morata, Moreno, not really sure. Ferran Torres, no. Sarabia, who is that one player who is going to win you the game single-handedly? So I think that is the difference. And then, of course, you have the love story at the back with Chiellini and Bonucci, who are probably total combined age is more than Spain, but they're doing the business. And again, Enrique has no clue whom to play at centre back. Pau Torres, Eric Garcia, Laporte, yes, but you saw it. You saw the inexperienced show. They lost the ball against Spain a couple of times. They've conceded chances. So yeah, I don't see Jorginho turning this game around, but I don't see Spain putting pressure on him either.
Well, that's actually a really good point because you were speaking about key battles and how you mentioned Bonucci and Chiellini. And Kunal, I'm going to ask you this. You know, Bonucci and Chiellini are probably a combined age of 70. And you have on the other side, you have Laporte and Garcia, you know, who are just finding their feet together, you know, especially with Laporte making the transition from French to Spanish. So what do you think would be that key battle in this match so far?
that's a great question. I'm just thinking about the comparison between the center backs right now. And in the last game, Chiellini was playing with this huge smile on his face. Like he knew this might be the last time, but he was just like enjoying the hell out of it. I've never seen him smile before because he's usually looking so like scary. But I was just going to say, I don't know personally which matchups are the most important, but I was just thinking in terms of like really elegant football teams who are going to try and outplay one another. I'm really excited to see that in a game as opposed to someone just basically trying to like injure the other team.
I think people are just writing out Spain completely, you know. I mean, you're talking about battles. I think if you see Italy, Di Lorenzo, the right back. I mean, in the game against Belgium, Jeremy Doku just, you know, absolutely penetrated the right-hand side of that Italy defense. And Spain, on the other hand, their left-hand side is really strong. You know, no one's spoken of Alba right now, who's got all the assists. So I think Spain can capitalize on that against Italy team, and also Spinazzola is injured, and Emerson I think will come in his place. Now Emerson and Insignia, what kind of chemistry they have, we really don't know. A semi-final is a big game for Emerson to come in. So I think Spain, don't count them out. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. I mean, you really
Emerson-
can't find them out. Of course you can't.
Al, I'm sorry, but I just want to ask you this. Does Emerson also qualify for the Ballon d'Or if he wins the cup?
I mean, hey, it's not me who makes the rules. You're gonna have to ask the editor of Gazzetta della Sport actually whether he does qualify for it or not. But again, now Ronisha, as a Spanish fan over here, you're going to be nervous because right now, we're taking a huge dump on the Spanish right now, and
Yep.
even though we're taking them for granted, but Rahul did mention a few names there, and for me personally, I think the most breakout player from the Spanish side has been Pedri.
Yeah.
And probably beyond that, maybe a little bit of Ferran Torres. He's come off the bench. He's been pretty inspirational. But who do you think is your player to watch from the Spanish side?
I mean, so if you go to see the entire thing, Morata had got a lot of slack from the Spanish fans even during the pre-game. You know, you're not a Spanish player. What are you doing? But then that goal that he scored versus Croatia, that superb goal that he did. I mean, there are days where he has an on and an off. So I'm hoping tonight is his on game and he really pulls through and gets Spain out there. I mean, yes, Spain is missing out on a lot of talent that, because of some reason that they haven't taken any Madrid players. So that's crazy. But at the same time, they are a team that you can't cut out. The fact that even with this kind of a team that they are playing with, they've made it so far into the Euros. There is something right that is ticking the box. So, I just have a hunch that they are going to make it. So, yeah.
No, fair enough. And Ren, I'm glad you mentioned Spinazzola because again he was so influential in this tournament, and it's going to be a big loss to the Italians. And as you said, Emerson is going to come into the squad. Again, how do you see them panning out, especially when he's coming across a relatively inexperienced Spanish attack, but of course it's going to be his first start. So how do you think that's going to play out?
No, I think all the Chelsea fans also have seen him play. He's something very similar. He's the type who likes to, run down the lines and put in that cross. So I think from the Italian point of view, I don't think there'll be many changes. It's just how he adapts to this big game. Because obviously, playing your first full 90-minute game in a semi-finals of, Euros, it's a lot of pressure on the player. But where Italy is concerned, I don't think there'll be much change in the approach. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. And Calvin, what do you think is going to be your key battle? What are you looking forward to in this match? Like anything in particular?
I think the midfield is going to be the spot because I think the defense. I mean, yeah, Chiellini and Bonucci do have much more experience than the Spanish defense, but I still think the Spanish defense, you can't rule them out. They're still quality. They're still strong. But for me, I think it's going to be the midfield. Is Sergio Busquets going to show up? It's going to be super important. Koke and Pedri as well. Whereas Italy have Jorginho and who else would play for them?
Because Barella and Verratti.
Verratti and Barella. So yeah, like Kunal said, is Verratti going to show up today? And if he does, I think he has the ability to really change that game. So I think Pedri and Verratti for me would be like the two big ones that have the ability to unlock defenses, play that nice through ball to their front three and get a goal.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Verratti is also due for a big game. I mean, we've seen him just ticking all the boxes, doing what is required of him. But I think now's the time he needs to shine. So Rahul, I'm going to ask you first. What do you think is going to be the score prediction of this match?
For me, I think Immobile is still to unleash himself in this tournament. He's hit the post a couple of times. He's had half chances. He's had miraculous recoveries after falling down and getting hit in the face, like we saw in the last game. But I just feel that I feel the Italians are the stronger lineup. And of course, Spain need to stop depending on own goals. So while... Oh, sorry, Ronisha. but they do. But yeah, I think I have a feeling that it's going to finish in 90 minutes. And I think Italy will keep a clean sheet and probably 2-0.
2-0. Kunal, do you concur? Do you think that the Spanish are going to spring a surprise?
No, I'm just going to give you what I want to happen, which is 4-2 Italy.
4-2 Italy. Bold. Like any
Yeah,
possibility of the scorers?
No, that was something that I'm throwing out there because it would be sick to watch, and I think it would be really good. I think it would be good to see if Spain can actually execute this modern tiki-taka against a team that's equally as talented as them. Because if they can play around Italy, it'll be a really great achievement. So I'm not discounting them at all, but they'll really, they really have to do it against guys who are at their same leable.
Fair enough, fair enough. Ronisha, the Spanish supporter.
Yeah.
You gotta have to give it to the Spanish. So what do you think is going to be your score prediction?
So Spain has literally finished one game in 90 minutes and has taken two of their last games into extra time. So I'm saying that it will go into extra time, hoping not penalties, but 2-1 Spain, extra time.
2-1 Spain. Oh,
1-1, 90 minutes, taking it into 2-1 Spain, extra time.
So Ronisha's just like slapped the glove across to all the Italian, the Italian fans and say like, I challenge you. And Ren, what do you think would be your score prediction? Do you agree with Ronisha? Or do you think it's going to be a lot more convincing for the Italians?
No, I'm going to go with the underdogs just for fun. I think it'll be 2-1 to Spain. Both will be own goals. No problem whatsoever.
Well,
so Italy will score 3 goals.
I can see why you're playing smaller and picking Spain, because I know Portugal is very close to Spain, and kind of like cousins. So I see that.
De Gea.
De Gea all the way. Yeah,
Yes.
Cal, again, what's your score predictions?
I don't know. I just think Italy's slightly superior front three is going to give them, I think, a 2-goal difference. So like a 3-1 or a Kunal's 4-2. I'm hoping for some. It'll be good if we get Kunal's scoreline with a 4-2. That'll be good action for me as a neutral supporter, and probably Kunal as a supporter as well.
Any own goals in the Kunal?
Defenders. I have 4 Italian defenders. Do not say 4-2. You are
4-2 to the Italians.
Giving me a lot of stress.
No, I mean 4-2 to the Italians, by the way.
But they'll still concede 2
2 goals,
8 points. What I do.
Rahul, the Italian defenders will score the 2 own goals for Spain, yeah.
Fantasy got down.
You want to come home and hit me with something?
Well, guys, we'll see what's going to happen. It's basically the battle of pasta versus paella. Kunal, Ronisha, Cal, Ren, and Rahul, thank you guys so much for taking time to having a chat with us. It was a really fun chat. Let's hope we're getting a really entertaining match of football tonight. Hopefully, it's going to be Kunal's scoreline. It doesn't matter who gets it, but as long as it's 4-2, it'll be an entertaining match. For those watching at home, I hope you really enjoyed this episode. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And for the rest of you guys, thank you very much once again for joining us. And we'll see you when we see you.
See you.